What's going on, guys? This is Hex TV back with another video. I'm going to be doing a song breakdown, or a mix breakdown, I should say, of my new song, Wait. If you haven't heard it, you'll hear it now, and you should also listen on Spotify and Apple Music. Those links will be in the description. Yeah, before we get started, I just want to say, if you guys want your songs mixed, or you want to end up actually buying this Pro Tools session off of me, you can. I don't have the templates and the sessions up on an e-commerce type thing yet. I'm working on that, but as of right now, you can just email me at the email in the description, or you can DM me on Instagram, and I would be happy to sell it to you. If you want my mixing services, you can hit me up on my website at mixedbyhex.com. That will also be in the description. Okay, enough of plugging myself. So let me pull up the session here. And we're going to start with just the beat. So we're just going to go over the beat mix right now, because if I went over everything, it would be like an hour-long video. So I'm just going to do the beat, and then I'll do a video for the vocals, and then I'll do another one for the mix bus. So first and foremost, I'm going to play the song. If I play the song full out, because the session is so full of plugins, as you can see, my computer will go crazy. So I'm just going to have it playing right now.
Weight on my shoulders, down in my downtime. Speak to me softly, the weight is killing me. Still on my mind, yeah. Pray for me nightly. Feel myself crossing over. The weight is killing me, I'm alright.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. So yeah, I'm gonna just make all these vocals inactive and the vocal effects, so that all the plugins will stop running and we can just focus on the beat. Alrighty, so here's the beat without any mix bus stuff. So let's see, we'll start with the music section. So overall on all the instruments, I just took out a low shelf, low cut, just to take out the bass of the instruments and leave some room for the actual 808. I put 900 dynamic EQ, 980, pulled down like 3 dB, only because when it gets loud, I don't want it to clash with the vocals, because that's like the mid-range is where the vocals will live. And then I also did some dynamic low shelving. This is off, so don't worry about that, but this low shelf right here, it's like 380 down dynamically, so it kind of like ducks out the low end. So this vinyl sound effect at the beginning, I had nothing. These strums are just kind of like percussion to go with this main guitar. I basically just filtered them out just to make sure that there was no low end or super high end. It was just like high mids. And then added a lot of attack, so it punched. Then I did the main guitar. It was just some EQ, pulling out the mid-range and some low end. These guitar plucks, I panned them all the way to the right, and then I pulled out all of this low end here because I didn't want them clashing with anything. And then I pulled out some 1K, and then added some 2K dynamically, so that it like had like some transient at the high mids, so that it would cut more. And then this piano hit, I just filtered it and added a little mid-range boost, and then a huge mid-range boost there, and then compensated with the output. So this is what these two sound like together. So those like kind of spread out the instrumental a little bit. So these power chords, I flipped the phase on them and then lowered the volume. I flipped the phase because these when they're in phase, like when I flipped the phase, they're more in phase, and the waveforms kind of like combine better instead of being opposites. Instead of being opposites and like being like this and canceling out, they sounded more full and like on top of each other. So definitely helped with that. And then I'm gonna do a video on phase correlation and stuff like that, because like especially in like a kick and bass relationship, when you flip the phase on a kick, sometimes the kick and the bass will mesh together a lot better and it'll be punchier. The low end will go crazy. So that's like a golden tip right there, is definitely check the phase and try flipping it and playing around with that. Spread out the lower power chords, those power chords. I just lowered the volume a little bit. Added good amount of tape saturation, and then did some EQing, some filtering, and then made sure that those high mids were nice and under control too. So yeah, this is what the music sounds like in the instrumental. The drums, so is literally just this right here. So overall, I just upped the volume a little bit after I made like a volume adjustments individually. And then I added some mid-range there with the Maag EQ. The clap, I actually pitched the clap down. You won't be able to see that because I printed it out. But it's just one semitone lower than it was before when I got the stems. Ignore these three. These are off. But the filters, I just filtered out the clap. So versus this. Super, see this, all this cut up here? There's a lot of high end in the clap. So when I filtered it, it sounded better. It sounded more under control. This impact, literally, it's just volume. And then I added a delay to make it ring out more. Then the hats is cool. So what I did was in the Saturn plugin, the 4x4 hat designer, it gives it some swing. So if I take it off, it like ducks the volume at certain times in the bar, in the measure. I think it's like the downbeat of the measure. It'll duck it a little bit and like make it move so the hats aren't super static. Then I did a dynamic pop right here at like 2.5K to make those like the lower portions of the hat to snap more. And then I kind of like de-essed with this dynamic EQ up here at like 6800. And then I filtered them too. Filtering is huge. That's like the biggest thing when mixing beats, is like filter your sounds and make sure like all the unwanted frequencies aren't there. And then I had a transient designer and just pulled down 2 dB out of the attack, so the hats were smoother and weren't as like snappy, so it didn't get in the way of the vocals and the guitars and stuff like that. And they kind of lived more in the back, even though they're pretty loud. Yeah. And then the kick and the bass. So there's just a volume adjustment there. So the kick I'll start with. So I actually lowered the pitch of the kick a lot in this song because the kick was like super thin. So the sound choice was kind of like for the producer, but that I got it from. But with the kick, however, I could have just switched out the kick with one of my own kicks that I have, but I don't know why I didn't. I ended up taking way too much time trying to dial in this kick, but yeah. So I started out with some saturation. Makes it like way thicker. I did a filter, so because there was tons of sub in the kick after I did the saturation, because I added a ton of sub and lower frequency stuff. I filtered up to 58 and then added a little pop with the Q. And then I added a dynamic expansion at 300 to make it the attack pump more at 300. So it like popped. Then I did RBass at 60 hertz. I lowered the intensity all the way down, so it was super slight. And then I added some attack, literally just 7% on this transient shaper. And then I flipped the phase, like I said before. It's not like they were completely out of phase, but it just sounded more low end was involved. They sound like more meshed together, and there's less like clickiness in the kick. The 808, I added tube saturation, so it's not like super distorted. It's just more even order harmonics, just making it thicker and bigger feeling. I added tape saturation in the low end, So this plugin is like an EQ and a saturator in one. So like basically you can only boost with this, like EQ boost moves, and it boosts along with like while saturating it, and you can pick a type of saturation. So I did a low shelf here, a bell at 215 and a bell at 935, and then I lowered the volume after because it raised it pretty significantly. But yeah, that's just like shaping the sound of that. And then I took out some 180 because the 808 was like boomy. I didn't like that. And then it was stereo, so it wasn't like spread out like those like distorted spread out like Alex Toomey type 808s. It was just a little stereo, so I made it mono, so everything was up the middle, and then dropped the volume down right here in the output. So yeah, then after doing all of that, I then went up to these buses I have right here, which is basically just, I could have just done them right on these folders right here, but instead I have buses correlated, so music, drums, and kick and bass, just like the folders. So the music, I also did more Oxford Inflator to saturate it more with tube saturation, did some tape saturation. Then I did the lo-fi plugin and added 0.1 distortion, which isn't a lot, but just added a little bit more grit. And then just took out some pain points there, and then boosted a little bit of body. Let's see. That was that. Drums. Saturated the drums a little bit with tape saturation, and then added a little bit of transients, just 1 dB of attack. And then I saturated the kick and bass with tape saturation a little bit. So, yep. So that's that for the beat. I'm pretty sure that's it. Yeah, that is it. Alrighty, well, I hope you enjoyed. There's going to be a part 2 with the vocals and a part 3 with the mix bus. I'm going to make those right now, right after I shut this off. But like I said, I'm going to plug myself again. If you want your song mixed by me and you like the way I do things and you like the way my stuff sounds, definitely hit me up on my website. You can go on. And it's basically you get a sample from me. So if you want a song mix, you send me your stems, and I will mix the song and show you how it sounds. And if you like the sound, you can pay for it. If you don't like the sound of it, you don't have to pay for it, and you can just say, nah, never mind. And no questions asked. That's how it works for first-time customers. So yeah, if you want to take that chance with me, hit me up on my website. Like I said, I'm also selling this template. It's technically not up yet on a website or anything like that, but if you want it, you can DM me on Instagram at ITSH3X or email me at mixedbyhex@gmail.com. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button, comment below. Peace. See ya.
Weight on my shoulders.